Hi folks, thanks very much for joining me today. In the vise you see my version of a Bibio. So without further ado, let's get into it. In the vise then is a Hanak H270 barbless hook. This is at size 12 and it's a medium wire hook in black nickel. The thread I'm going to be using today is the Semperfi Nano Silk. It's at 18.0 and as you can see it's black. So first thing I'm going to do is get a little bit of wax onto my thread, and as I'm just melting the wax into the thread with my thumb and forefinger, I'd like to just mention that the inspiration for this fly came from Scott Aitken. He posted his version of the Bibio on Facebook a few weeks back, and I seen it and thought, oh, that's not how I tie it. I used to tie mine just with the black and the red and the silver wire, and then just a hackle at the front, and that was the Bibio. But he used a palmering technique, which I thought, oh, that's really interesting, and I've just added to that slightly. So I'm going to add in my wire rib now. It's the Vineyards French number 27, just a silver medium wire rib, quite a bright wire. So I'll catch that in at the end, and I've run the wire up the body of the hook on my side, which you can't see. I'm going to bring it all the way back to the end. It's a relatively easy fly to tie actually, and I don't know why I've not got more of these in my box. It's another one of the forgotten heroes, if you like. So I'm going to use some seal's fur. This is black claret from Cook's Hill, and I've taken a little bit out the packet already. It's not the easiest thing to dub in the world, this. So you've got to just take a little bit of time to get it onto your hook. Now I've got a pinch in my hand. I'm going to keep that there for now and see how I get on with the first part. And I've just caught some round the hook point there, which I'll remove in a sec. And I'm fairly happy that I've got to the middle of that. I can just use my snips to take that away, and I'm going to leave it nice and rough like that. But the red, I haven't got any seal's fur, so what I've got is this substitute. I'm sorry, I've lost the label, but it's simply a dubbing selection that I picked up some years ago, and God only knows what I've shoved into each compartment. But this is a nice vibrant red. It does have tiny little flecks of glister going through it, but we're only using the tiniest amount, so it won't make any odds. And what I want is about 1 3/4 inches of the red dubbing onto my thread, and this stuff dubs actually much better than the seal's fur. So I'm going to pretty much build my hot spot in the middle of the fly, classic Bibio, and then again I'm going to come back in with my black claret seal's fur, dub that on it quite hard with my finger, and then work my way to the front of the hook. Now I've got to leave myself some room to work there, so I'm happy enough that I've left myself about 1.5 mil at the front, which should be sufficient. Next then, I'm going to select a feather from my black cock cape. Now I've already got a feather here. It's I've stripped away the core so that I can see the stem, and before I dress it up to the hook, so to speak, I'm going to just get a bit of beeswax onto my thread, and then I can capture that in. Now just try and keep your tag out the road. It's better if you haven't just cut your nails like I've done. You can often pick it out, remove that tag end. Okay, that's not too bad. Next, I'm going to just bend my cupcake back so that I get it coming at a 90-degree angle. And then what I can do is one turn at the head, and then I can just palmer all the way up the fly. And the feather's long enough that I don't need to worry about using hackle pliers. So all the way up, and then as I get to the bottom of the fly, grab a hold on my wire rib. I'm going to bring that underneath the shank of the hook, trying to avoid the bobbin, and then simply I want to just weave my way through the hackle. Hold that into place, and then you can just work your way up the fly. Don't worry too much about catching in the odd fibre or two. We're going to pull it all out with our dubbing brush in a minute anyway. And then once you've got to the head, secure that in with a couple of wraps. Then come in front to lock it in place, then twist away the wire. At this point, I'm just going to open my vise. You can come in and remove your excess hackle. Now again, it looks a bit of a hot mess at the minute, but it's going to look a lot worse in a second. So I've got my dubbing brush, and I'm just going to pull out some of that fibre. I really want to try and get a few of the red fibres to come through in the body of the fly, and pick out some of the deer hair. So nice and scruffy, just exactly what I'm after. Now you could just finish this off as it is really, but I always like, somebody said to me, do you always change every pattern that you tie? And I had to think about it, and actually probably I do, but you know, if you can't have a bit of fun, I can't change the world, but I can certainly change what a bibio looks like. So what I've taken is a partridge feather, and I've already cleaned off the rubbish from the feather. I'm going to catch in the tip with my hackle pliers and just pull the feathers back. So I've got that. I only want one turn of this really. So now I've prepared the feather, I'm going to lay it on. 1, 2 turns. I'm going to pull that back to get in front of it. Another couple of turns. Then I can come in with my snips and just remove that waste. Then I just want one turn of the partridge. Try and pull the feathers back so you're getting that nice speckled hackle, and then catch in your feather. I don't know how well you can see, my thumb and fingers probably in the way at this point, but I have caught that. And what I'm going to do next is draw everything back with my thumb and forefinger and just pull that out the way. Now once that's in place, I can just about see, without having to move my vise, to take away my excess partridge, and then I can simply pull all that back. And what I'm going to do to finish this fly off is add a little bit of resin to my thread. And then come in with a whip finish tool. remove the thread, and then you can cure off the tips. Now I found this fly works best in smaller sizes, so that's why I've decided to tie it on a size 12 today for you. But it will work on a 10, but I like them in the smaller sizes. 12s and 14s are great. The Bibios are classic, but this is a wee variation with the Partridge at the front. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. Remember, fly tying's all about using your imagination to create something. If you want to have standard patterns, you can buy them from shops. That's why I tie my own flies, so I can mess about with the formula and hopefully get something that the fish find as pleasing as I do. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate your support. Click the button below, and I'll see you next time.